Right now, you probably know that killing someone doesn't make you immortal. Obviously. But imagine you live in a world where dying isn't the scariest thing. Being forgotten is. And suddenly, killing your enemy isn't just about survival, it's a way to make sure your name survives you. Humans have been telling stories about violence, enemies, glory, and immortality for thousands of years. Older than most written history. Older than cities. The person who defeats the greatest enemy doesn't simply win, they become unforgettable. Why did humans start treating violence like a shortcut to immortality? We have to go back before anyone could even write the story down. Around 10,000 years ago, people at a site called Nataruk near Lake Turkana in Kenya were attacked. Archaeologists discovered human remains, showing evidence of violent deaths, including injuries from arrows and blunt force weapons. We don't know exactly who attacked whom. We don't know what started it. Nobody left behind a heroic poem explaining the battle. But here's the important part. Humans were already killing other humans. Long before they invented written legends about heroic warriors, the violence came first, the stories came later, and those stories changed everything. Once humans could remember the dead, they could do something strangely powerful. They could turn a violent person into a legend. Jump forward to ancient Mesopotamia. Around 4,000 years ago, scribes were writing down one of humanity's oldest surviving epics, the Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a king. He's powerful, reckless, and very much not okay with the idea of dying, so he goes looking for something almost every human civilization eventually searches for, a way around death. And here's the problem. He can't actually find it. He learns that even kings die. Even heroes die. Even the strongest person eventually becomes bones and dust. So what does survive? His story. Think about that. The ancient solution to immortality wasn't necessarily living forever. It was being remembered forever. And this idea becomes much more obvious in ancient Greece. The kind of immortality you could earn through extraordinary deeds. Kleos, basically glory that survives you. And if you've ever heard of Achilles, you've already met the idea. Achilles is given a brutal choice. He can live a long, ordinary life and eventually die without becoming legendary. Or he can fight at Troy, achieve extraordinary glory, and die young. Achilles chooses glory. A great enemy gives you a great story. The bigger the opponent, the bigger the victory. The bigger the victory, the longer people might talk about you, the farther your name travels through time. You aren't immortal biologically. You're immortal socially. Your body loses. Your reputation wins. But here's the thing. This idea wasn't limited to Greece. Warriors were often connected with status, honor, trophies, and stories. The enemy's body itself became part of the message. In ancient Assyria, royal palace reliefs show kings hunting, conquering, and defeating enemies. These weren't random decorations. They were political advertisements carved into stone. I defeated these people. I protected my kingdom. I am powerful. Remember me. These advertisements were designed to last thousands of years. Talk about commitment. The real prize wasn't necessarily the enemy, it was memory. The enemy was the evidence. Stories could preserve reputations. And once that happened, the enemy was no longer the real prize. Memory was. The victory, the trophy, the monument, the story, they all became ways of making sure someone would still matter after they were gone. You can see the same idea across history. Warriors chased glory. Kings carved victories into stone. Heroes became legends because people kept telling their stories. And eventually, humans discovered something even stranger. You don't have to kill anyone to become unforgettable. You just need to leave something behind. A story, a monument, a memory. Because death can erase a body. Time can erase a face. Kingdoms can turn into ruins. But a story can keep moving. Someone remembers you. Then they tell someone else. And suddenly, a person who disappeared thousands of years ago is still affecting someone alive today. Maybe that's the closest thing humans ever invented to immortality. Not defeating death, just surviving it in memory. And maybe that's why we're still obsessed with heroes. Because underneath all the stories, we may be asking the same ancient question. Will anyone remember that I was here?